If you've been around the anime and manga scene for the last couple of months, you've likely heard some hype for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. Well, today I want to help reaffirm that hype with just a month to go until the release of Season 2. And the way that we're going to be doing that is by covering the top 3 fights that I believe are going to be animated this season. I am going to go ahead and issue a spoiler warning. This is not a light spoiler warning. This is a heavy spoiler warning. I will be talking about characters' deaths. Without further ado, though, let's dive into these 3 fights. So the first fight that I am really excited for is going to be Toji versus Ghetto and Gojo. This is likely going to start within the first 2 episodes. It's not part of a particularly long arc. It's part of the premature death arc or the hidden inventory arc. And it's where we are obviously introduced to the character that is Toji. I've made an entirely separate video for Toji. If you guys want to go ahead and watch that, I'll link it here, wherever. I definitely recommend going and checking it out so that you can get a little bit of background on the character before season 2 starts. But this is the first time that we really see Gojo struggle in a fight, and it is a flashback arc, so it is Gojo's past before Ghetto became evil and Kenjaku inhabited his body. We get to see some absolutely amazing moments, including Ghetto being beaten to a pulp and Gojo pretty much dying, although he comes back to life, so don't worry about that. But it is crazy to see someone like Toji that has no cursed energy put up such a good fight against Gojo and actually be able to kill him. Now, one of the reasons that he's able to kill him is because he has a special tool that has an effect on it that nullifies a user's curse technique. So it nullifies Gojo's infinity. Now, that is going to likely play a role later in this series, but it is really cool to see Toji get to use that. It is called the Inverted Spear of Heaven. But overall, I'm just very excited to see Toji get animated. I really liked this fight. Like, reading it, it was really cool. You know, it's a cliffhanger. There's a lot that goes on. We get to see a young Nanami as well, and Yu Haibara, that was Nanami's partner that ends up dying and causes Nanami to step away from being a sorcerer. So we get a little backstory on him. We also get to see a younger Shoko, who at this point has started her foray into the medical world of the Jujutsu High system. So we really get a background on a lot of characters, and we also get to see what kind of pushes Ghetto towards turning evil and why Ghetto and Gojo, you know, were at odds before Ghetto dies in Jujutsu Kaisen 0. By the way, go watch that if you haven't. Go watch the series and read up to volume 8 if you haven't yet. I would definitely recommend it, because if you don't, you're going to go into season 2 and you're going to be a little bit confused as to what's happening. Now, that is my first favorite fight. I'm very excited to see that. That's going to be an early on fight. Now we move on to the Shibuya incident arc, and one of the craziest fights that's going to take place is going to be Yuji versus Choso. Now, if you guys remember, we got introduced to Choso back in season 1 of the anime. He was one of the cursed womb death paintings, and Yuji killed his 2 other brothers. So Choso is out for blood in this one, and this is going to be an unbelievably cool fight. It's likely going to span 1 to 2 episodes, and it sets up the events of our next fight, actually. But we get to see Yuji try and come up against a significantly stronger opponent in Choso. Choso uses a technique that manipulates blood, and he's able to harden it and like essentially kind of loop it around like a dagger attached to like a rope at times, if that makes sense to you guys. So Choso's just a really cool character, and I'm very, very excited to see him finally get animated. You know, we saw him get animated in season 1, but I don't think that it did him justice, and I'm honestly kind of hoping that they change his character design, because I didn't think he looked very faithful to the manga, but we will see. So that fight's really going to be cool, although we do see Yuji get absolutely bloodied, battered, bruised, beaten up, just absolutely destroyed by Choso, essentially. Like, he runs through him. And then something interesting happens at the end of the fight where Choso actually sees him as a brother, and we learn later on that's because Kenjaku inhabited Itadori's mom when she was trying to get pregnant with her husband, which is Itadori's dad. And so Yuji is essentially Kenjaku's kid. He's the perfect vessel for Sukuna. Very crazy. We figure that out way later on. That's why I issued such a heavy spoiler warning, because that is just a nuts thing that happens much later on. It's going to be like season 3, season 4 of the anime. But yeah, so Choso ends up seeing Yuji as a brother, and it throws him for a loop, and he's like, these memories are not real, and he gets like memories implanted into him, and it's really crazy. So yeah, so we see Yuji get pretty much destroyed by Choso, leaves him bloodied and battered, and we see at the end of the fight Choso leaves him alone, and then we see Jogo run up to him and start dropping fingers of Sukuna into Yuji's mouth, trying to summon Sukuna, and we see that he loads him up with 10 fingers from Sukuna, and this causes Sukuna to take his body over, and we then see Sukuna versus Jogo, which is a phenomenal fight. That is a really good fight. We get to see a little bit about what Jogo and the other curses kind of wanted in terms of like what they want to be perceived as. They kind of want to be seen as humans. They don't want to be seen as curses. It's very interesting. We get a big philosophy lesson there. We also are exposed to to the power of Sukuna as he just wreaks havoc on Shibuya. He is unbelievably powerful. Along with that, we get to see him fight Maharaga, which is a summon that Megumi uses, which is unbelievably cool. I am very excited for those two fights. Those are kind of a 2-for-1 fight to get animated. I think those are going to be absolutely phenomenal. But there we have it. Those are the 3 fights that I'm most excited for. So we got Toji versus Gojo, we got Yuji versus Choso, and we have Sukuna versus Maharaga and Jogo as well. We are going to see so many unbelievable fights this season. I'm so ready for it. Very excited for it. I do want to preface there is going to be a lot of deaths this season as we are having a lot of cool fights. There are fights that I also didn't mention. We get to see Nanami versus a number of different curses. We get to see Toji fight against Dagon, which is one of the curses that works with Kenjaku, which is going to be unbelievably cool. We get to see Gojo fight against Jogo and Hanami and Mahito as well. We get to see so many unbelievable cool fights. I also think an honorable mention that should be in here is going to be Yuji versus Kogai. Kogai is a very minor antagonistic character. He is a grasshopper curse. I talked about him in episode 1 of my Shibuya arc video, but I think that is going to be a really cool fight just because they essentially just throw hands for 20 or 30 pages, and it's really cool to see. I think that the fight of Megumi and Yuji against Awasaka is going to be unbelievably cool, especially when Yuji throws a car at him and Megumi drops an elephant Shikigami on him. There is a lot of fights to look forward to this season, so if you guys are excited for that, please go ahead, drop a comment, let me know what you guys are most excited for. I think Mahito versus Yuji is also an honorable mention. I don't know if that's going to get animated this season just based on chapter numbers and stuff like that, but if it does get animated, that's going to be really cool. The whole of the Shibuya incident arc is going to afford us a lot of really cool stuff to be able to watch over the coming months until December, essentially. So there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope that was able to shed a little bit more light for you guys on what to expect for season 2 for all of the fights that are going to be going down. It's going to be amazing. I love you all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you guys want to see next. Thank you all for watching. Love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.